when I visited Great Britain in 2003, an English friend of mine, his name was Tom, he introduced me to his friends as Jahmal the American, right? And when he said that, I thought to myself, I said, man, this is the first time that I was aware that somebody had referred to me as an American, right? Prior to this, I always thought of myself as being as black or African American, but never just American, right? It was an eye-opening experience. Really, it was, because it was the first time somebody had identified me by my country and looked past the color of my skin, right? And I'm telling you, you got to get overseas and travel. People need to travel. Don't let your whole worldview be shaped by your block, your hood, or your city, because when you go overseas, and especially in Great Britain, when you have a conversation, you'll walk away saying, man, there was something different about that exchange, the way they looked at me, the way something will be different about it, right? And you'd be surprised how many people I talk to that have never been downtown Chicago. So this trip to England awakened my interest in my own country and its history. And while I was over there, I was fascinated with the History Channel. And I remember staying up all night and watching it, because it revealed history from a British perspective, and it's way different than what we learn here in the States, right? And it became apparent that my one-sided perspective about history had left me ignorant, and I only knew it from the American perspective, right? And this was evident early July when I asked my friend, I said, hey, what are y'all doing to celebrate the 4th of July? And everybody broke out laughing. They're like, we don't celebrate the 4th of July over here. Right? And at this point in my life, I thought everybody in the world celebrated the 4th of July. I literally did. I was like, y'all don't celebrate the 4th? But today I read the Declaration of Independence from a different perspective. And it's one that doesn't come automatically. Right? It's a perspective you have to intentionally go searching for to find. It's a realization you can't possibly have unless you've experienced struggle. And I know all about struggle. I'm sure you guys have struggled. And adversity is a good thing sometimes. But that's why I respect the importance of this document. It really makes me proud to represent that brand of America. And I know there's a lot of demographics. We got African American, we got Asian Americans, we got Hispanic. You know, I mean, you got to be careful. I mean, I'm proud to be African American. But somebody told me earlier, they said Chicago is the most segregated city in the country. And if you take the red line from 87 to Fullerton, you feel like you're going on vacation, right? The colors, they change like leaves and autumns in the different communities. But this document makes everybody an American. We're Americans too, right? You don't forget that. A lot of people don't want to represent, but we're American, right? And so this document makes me proud to represent that brand of American. And I think diversity is beautiful, especially in Chicago. That's what makes this place beautiful. All the little communities, all the little eateries, all the different towns. You got Chinatown, Greektown, Chatham, Garfield Park, Humboldt Park. I mean, that's what makes us a beautiful. This is a beautiful city, and I'm proud to be a Chicagoan, and I'm proud to be an American. But this newfound perspective, right, this realization gave me an admiration for the Second Continental Congress. And all people always say, who was the Second Continental Congress, right? Well, they were a group of delegates, which are representatives of their communities or their states. They got together in Philadelphia in 1776, and they put their names on a document called the Declaration of Independence, which would declare independence from Great Britain, right? And pretty much plunge the nation into war. That's what they were doing at that time they signed the document, right? They stood for human freedom and self-government, which are two principles I feel strongly about. Just like I wouldn't expect Rahm Emanuel or big city government to mow my lawn. I don't think we should expect them to tell us what representatives belong on our school board, or do I think they need to tell us what schools belong or in our communities or what businesses belong in our communities. I think those decisions can be better made by the people in the community. And that's what the Second Continental Congress did for human freedom and self-government, right? Their struggles, that word struggle comes up again, their struggle in the late 1700s, it reminds me of the struggles we go through as a community today, right? They wanted their independence from Great Britain, and they were willing to revolt, right? They were willing to fight to get it, right? We want our independence from symptoms of oppression, like crime, this gang activity, drugs. Our biggest problem, as I see it, is hopelessness, right? A lot of people don't believe things can change, but the Second Continental Congress did something about it. What are we willing to do to achieve the state that we want in our community, right? They had to convince thousands of farmers to pick up arms and fight in the name of independence, right? This wasn't an easy task. It wasn't. I mean, there was people that wasn't trying to independence. Come on, man. I don't want to listen. Forget that. Like no independence. Listen, there were people that were loyal to the British Crown. There were people that didn't want to abide by the British rule. There were people that didn't mind paying taxes, and there were people that didn't want to pay taxes for tea. And the majority of people, they just want to be left alone. Like, don't call me. Listen, I don't have time for that, right? Don't that kind of remind you of where we live today? That, to me, it does. It reminds me of the 34th District, Illinois, or the 6th Ward of Chicago, because we got people that witness crimes and call the police, and we got people that don't snitch, right? We got people that stand in line all day to vote, even though there's voter suppression all over the place. You'll come to the library on Voters Day, and they'll tell you you're supposed to be somewhere else. You'll get there, they'll tell you you're supposed to be so. You don't even know where to vote nowadays, but we still get it done. You stand in line all day. And then you got people that only stand in line for Garrett's popcorn, right? We do. And then majority of people just want to be left alone. Look around you. The majority of people don't come to, they don't be involved. They aren't involved, right? So the Second Continental Congress, they had to convince these people to fight in the name of independence, man. That was unbelievable. And I admire those guys. And I admire them for it. I kind of lost my place because I got excited thinking about the severity of it. But seriously, these guys were ordinary people, right? They were ordinary people, and they had to go up against the British Army. Can you imagine? Listen, these were townspeople and farmers, and they had to go to war for their independence against the most powerful military force in the world. They couldn't predict the future. These guys didn't know hundreds of years later, after the Declaration was signed, that their names were going to be celebrated and statues and monuments were going to be erected. They didn't know that. Like, at the time they signed that document, they rode to Philadelphia on horseback. When they got there, they signed the documents. They thought they were going to be hung because they were committing treason. They were committing treason. They thought they were going to be hung. Their families were going to be murdered. A lot of their houses were burned. That's what they were up against. That took guts. That took courage, right? Now, the thing is, when you want to get something done, it's hard to get black people together, especially. I just want to, it's hard to get people together. It's hard to get black people together in a room together. I've been doing this for a year now, and it's hard. But just getting people together is hard. But there are a few courageous people who do represent the spirit of human freedom and are willing to stand up for the principles of self-government. And you people that showed up tonight are proof that that spirit does exist. And seriously, don't think you're not special. You guys are. You guys are special. The fact that you got up today, you went on with your lives, got to work, and you came here tonight, drove to the library, opened the doors, and came and sat down, that's the muscle memory it takes to make the difference. You're building that muscle memory up, right? That's the small action it takes to get things done, right? So there's just as few people today that want to be involved as there were in the 1700s. A lot of people look back in history and they say, man, everybody was just, we had a lot of aggression, everybody wanted to revolt. No, the majority of people didn't want to be bothered, right? They're eating Garrett's popcorn, watching the BET Awards. That's what they're doing. It was the same thing back then. They didn't have TV, but they was probably whatever they was doing back in the day. It's the same thing right now, right? So you guys are special for showing up. I like to think you guys came because you believe in a better community and a better Chicago. That's the same belief that brought the Second Continental Congress together in 1776 when they signed that document. And they did it because they believed in something that was bigger than themselves, right? And they were willing to stand up and fight for it. And so when you see me in the community, doing what I do, putting on my presentations, writing books to arouse enthusiasm, being a positive role model, don't ask me if I'm doing it because I want to run for office. Right? I don't do this because I want to run for office. That doesn't motivate me when I wake up every day thinking about running for office. Go support Alderman Sawyer. Go support Representative L.G. Sims. Those guys are friends of mine, and those guys are doing a wonderful job. Go support them. But when you think about Jahmal Cole, if you want to support me, join Role Model Movement. Pick up a copy of the books on the website at rolemodelmovement.com. That's how you really can support. Throw a block party for free. Hire somebody to make it safe.